Hello everyone, I am Jesse, or 𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐿 as all of you may know me. Here with us is Daniel and Hylian Luke, who has his own YouTube channel and Twitch where he streams Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, basically all Zelda stuff, some other Nintendo stuff, some randomizers, everything. Today we're going to be answering your questions from the Zelda Mailbag. If you support us on Patreon at patreon.com/𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐿, you are guaranteed to have your questions answered. So our first question today comes from Yiga Kermit Joy-Con Boys Forever. Do you think Breath of the Wild 2 will have DLC?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know what it will be, but yeah.
Yes.
All right, next question, guys. We're good at this.
That's the fastest we've ever answered a mailbag question.
So, yeah, I think it'll be something similar. Like in Breath of the Wild, they gave us like the Breath of the Wild style dungeon was the Divine Beast, and they gave us what I would consider one of the better Divine Beasts as the final bonus DLC in the Creating
it's the
Champions.
best one.
I don't know what to call it, the mission type thing. You get so familiar with the areas in Breath of the Wild, especially the Great Plateau, because like you begin there and you stay there for a few hours until you manage to get off when it's your first time playing, and then you're always returning there as well, whether if it's to go to the Temple of Time to upgrade your stamina or your hearts, or maybe there's like new DLC chests that appear that you have to go look for, or certain mushrooms or whatever that only grow there. For whatever reason, you're always going back. It's basically in the middle of the map. You're very familiar with it. And they completely turned that around in the Champions Ballad. Whenever they give you the one-hit obliterator, it completely changes the style of gameplay 100%. No longer are you charging in, trying to obliterate people, not worried about being hit because you have level 20, 25 armor on, and you have a sword that's like the Master Sword at full strength at 60, and you got the Hylian shield, and maybe you have some defense or attack buffs on, and you just run in and you can basically destroy anything. But whenever you're playing with the one-hit obliterator, it completely changes it. It turns into a complete stealth mission, and suddenly you're going into parts of the Great Plateau that you never had been before, and you're looking at it in a completely different way. So I really enjoyed that, and I hope they do something similar with Breath of the Wild 2, because it reminded me a lot of Skyward Sword when you get dropped in the Elden area and all of your stuff is gone. So it's kind of similar, like you have to sneak around and be stealthy, and I think that DLC part was heavily inspired by that segment in Skyward Sword. So that's what I would like, is just if they bring Breath of the Wild 2 and they do the same thing to where like the main DLC pack gives you that one extra giant dungeon, that would be cool. Obviously it wouldn't be in the style of the Divine Beasts because that was Breath of the Wild 1, so I imagine it would be like a normal dungeon. Like maybe the dungeon is the Temple of Time. I've always wanted a segment to where in the DLC, like the goddess statue is just gone. Like the Hylian, the goddess Hylia statue is completely gone, and there's just a pedestal there where she was. And you stick the sword in the pedestal, and all of a sudden it takes you back 100 years or whatever, 200 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years. Maybe you, by some weird time traveling stuff, end up being the hero 10,000 years ago that stopped Ganondorf by some weird thing. Something similar happened in Skyward Sword, where you kill Demise in the present, and then you go like 1,000 or 10,000, however many years in the past, and you kill him again. So like it's weird, because it's like if you kill him in the past, then there was no point in killing him in the future. Like it whatever. Anyways, so there's that whole thing, and it's just like, yeah, like give us, like, would it not be awesome if this is talking to you two and everybody watching the video live and the edited video or listening while you're driving in your car. I'm talking to you, Jim. So if
Oh, okay.
wouldn't it be odd if someone named Jim's like, you're talking to me? What? No.
He's like,
So
what the hell?
so imagine this. After you 100,
That's what I'm like. It's cursed.
just imagine. After you like 100% complete Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
you go back to the Temple of Time. Like maybe there's like the shiny light that is around the goddess statue.
Right.
But the whole temple is glowing like that, and you can like see it from like Elden Volcano, or like no matter where you're at, you can see like a shiny light. Kind of like whenever a star
Like Victoria
fragment
Mountain?
comes. Yeah, kind of like that. So, but it's the Temple of Time. So like you go there and like everything's the same, but the goddess statue is missing, and it's just a Master Sword pedestal. You put your sword in it, and it takes you back to a fully formed Temple of Time. And then you have the stairs like going to the window, like in Twilight Princess, or like when Navi flew up to the window in Ocarina of Time, and you go into it, and it's kind of like the Temple of Time from Twilight Princess, at least the way that you enter it, you know, like you have to go through the window, which I believe technically takes you to the Temple of Light, not the Temple of Time, because like you have to go through the Temple of, you have to go through the Temple of Time to get to the Sacred Realm, which is in the Temple of Light. So I think going through that window actually takes you to the Temple of Light. Like that's where the portal is to go to the Sacred Realm, because the Temple of Light is in the Sacred Realm because it has the Chamber of Sages in it. Anyways, so you put the sword in, it takes you back in time. You see like these stairs made from magic or light, whatever, kind of like in Twilight Princess. You run up it, like the painting fades out, you go through the door or whatever, and suddenly like you're in this new dungeon, but it's a giant dungeon. It's not just like Ganons Castle in Ocarina of Time, to where it's like, this is the Shadow Temple segment, this is the Fire Temple segment, this is the Water Temple segment. That was fun the first time, but I think like Stone Tower Temple and Majora's Mask did it better, to where instead of giving you like, this is the section where you need the Zora mask, this is the section where you need the Deku mask, like you have to like, there's puzzles in rooms, like in a single room you might have different puzzles to where you need to use all three masks and the Hylian form.
Yeah.
So like you have to turn into a Goron so you can roll through the lava, and then there's water, so you got to put on the Zora's mask and go through. So if it was something like that combined all of the different elements from the other dungeons and not just give you the segmented areas, that would be my perfect DLC. Give you that one last giant bonus dungeon as a thank you.
Well, that's kind of what the Divine Beast dungeon in the Champions Belt was kind of like, though. It had elements from all the other Divine Beasts in it.
Yeah. But in this case, it would be like an actual temple.
Segmented the way Ganon's Tower is. Like, here's the room with lava in it, and here's the room with water in it, here's the room with wind in it, and here's the room with the electricity puzzle.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
But that's what I would want. It's just like one that mixes it perfectly and doesn't have them all segmented out as a final hoorah thank you. And then maybe since like in the main story the main boss would be defeated, maybe at this like the main boss would be like maybe Dark Link or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I really want a Zelda game where Dark Link is the main villain. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Four Swords Adventure.
Yeah, he pops up everywhere.
Does that count as...
No.
No. Hold up, because is there a difference between Dark and Shadow Link?
All of them.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I guess it's
every game has
Shadow.
a completely different Dark Link.
They're all
like
different
every time you see Dark Link or Shadow Link, it is a completely different entity.
Why is that?
Like Dark Link in Ocarina of Time is just that he just exists in that room, right?
Yeah, and then
he's not the same as Dark Link in Zelda 2.
Yeah, one of them is a representation of like literally Link's shadow. There's another one where it's just Ganondorf creates like he has so much hate that he pulls the hate from himself and creates like a physical form for it, and he just makes it take on Link's shape as a bit of irony. And then so like I actually made a video that like goes through and describes all of them and gives the origins for each of the different Dark Links and Shadow Links and everything.
Okay.
So
I always thought that the Dark Link in the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time was a big symbolic thing because the water reflects what's in Link's heart and he has to conquer the evil within himself.
oh, that's what that one is, but all of the other
that's
ones.
Dark Link, yes. But other Dark Links that show up in the series are not necessarily
Yeah.
like they're not the same Dark Link that we see in Ocarina of Time. So that's just
well, I would think so because there are different links in all the games.
well, exactly.
Technically.
So that's, but some people think that like that there's just like one Dark Link who just
No,
is all over the series.
I've always assumed that the Dark Link in a specific game is like the dark version of that specific Link.
Yeah, basically.
Because they also
Usually.
look like that specific Link, so it makes sense.
That's usually what it is, but like I know in one of the games specifically, it's Ganondorf just like creates like a being out of his hatred, and he just wants it to take the form of Link because of irony, basically.
Which one is that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I just
don't know.
remember reading it.
Spirit Tracks?
I don't think. Well, Ganondorf isn't in Spirit Track.
I actually want to say
yeah.
Four Swords.
Force Adventure?
Is it Four Swords Adventure, Jesse?
Maybe. I'll look really quick
Because
while you guys talk.
that would make sense because Shadow Link is like the main villain throughout the whole thing until you find out Ganon is behind everything. No, Vadi. There's like three villains in Four Swords Adventures. That thing was a
Four
train.
Swords Adventure is a bit of a mess as far as the.
Yeah, because it was like Shadow Link is the reason all the maidens are recaptured, and then you find out that like Vadi's the reason Shadow Link's doing all this, and then you find out the reason Vadi's doing all this is because Ganon's around. And
Okay,
it's like,
so
what?
it says, the evil thoughts and resentment of Ganondorf, who had been killed by an earlier incarnation of Link in Twilight Princess, manifested through the Dark Mirror in the form of Link. He is possibly related to Dark Link, but has distinct differences in behavior, origin, and appearance, making any relationship between them unclear and speculative. So it's the evil thoughts and resentment of Ganondorf. So like when Ganondorf was killed in Twilight Princess, all the hatred he had manifested itself to become the Dark Shadow Link in Four Swords Adventures, coming through the Dark Mirror. So that's the one.
Would you say Dark Mirror? Is that the Mirror of Twilight or something else?
It's the Dark Mirror. I
think it's just his own thing, not the Mirror of Twilight, but
yeah, it says manifested through the Dark Mirror. So I guess in
Is there a mirror in Four Swords Adventures? I've never seen one.
oof, I never beat the game, so
Neither did I. I got into Ganon's Castle and I stopped.
yeah,
I was so close to beating it, and then like I could have sworn there was like a puzzle in the game that required you to have multiplayer, or I just couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out the puzzle because there was like this one puzzle where you needed to have two different items in the same room. I could have sworn it was like two different items in the same room, and you could only have one item at a time.
yeah.
In Four Swords Adventure. So I was like, well, I'm done. I can't beat this.
All right, so DLC guys, yeah. What would you guys
so
want?
yes. I mean, like I'm very open book. They can just add more content, add an extra dungeon. If it's DLC, it should at least be an extra dungeon.
I want the master car.
It's a Mercedes.
The Mercedes. I want the master Mercedes. I want to run Ganon over with my car.
It's beautiful.
It runs with the power to repel evil.
So the perfect DLC would be like
I was gonna say Loftwing.
no, a gauntlet style boss thing like they've had in past games, but it gives you like the main boss from past games. Like you can fight like Breath of the Wild's version of Zant or Vati or whatever. So like it doesn't give you the dungeons for it. That would be cool if it did, but that would be too much work. But just putting the boss in there, that would be far less work to like just put a boss in there and then have it recreate the movements and stuff that it did in past games. It's just in a new art style, and you have new weapons and stuff to have new strategies to defeat it. Like imagine having 𝐓𝐼𝐧𝐬𝐿 Fury while you're fighting Zant and Twilight Princess. So it would be something like that, to where like they have the same movements, maybe they have some different moves, some different attacks, but you have a new moveset. So like fighting 𝐓𝐽𝐺𝐻𝐵, you don't have the giant hammer to like hit him on the head with. So like maybe you'd have to have the Cobble Crusher or whatever it is to like swing sideways, or when he's flying in the air you can use 𝐓𝐼𝐧𝐬𝐿's Fury and like make him come down, or maybe you can like jump off of something and shoot him in the head the same way that you have to get like Dinral's horns or whatever.
Just get like ancient arrows and just destroy every boss.
Yeah. Get a bow that like turns it into like 3 or 5 shots.
Yeah, get your Savage Lionel bow and ancient arrows lined up and just rip through every boss.
All right.
That the series has
we need to move on though. So Daniel or Luke, who has like, we keep getting sidetracked. So Luke, have you told yours?
No.
Okay.
DLC.
I think my question. I already did DLC. I said the Master Car.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So Daniel.
Next question.
Oh, next question.
Next question. Let's choose one.
All right.
The man, boy, cave. Jesse. Oh, wait, you flagged that one or yourself. Are you just gonna read that one? All right, I'll pick a different one.
No. That's for something that we didn't do. You can do it.
Okay. The man, boy, cave says, so I just played through Minishcap for the first time. I was really impressed. I thought it had better visuals and color palette than Link to the Past. So my question is, what other smaller or portable Zelda games would you want ported to the Switch, and why? Also, why would you want it remade like Link's Awakening, or just remastered with maybe some added content? So I'll take a Link's Awakening style remake for any 2D Zelda game. And you know what I have not played at all is the Oracle games. So give me a Link's Awakening style remake, since the originals were in the same style as the original Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening style remake of the Oracle games, which happen to feature the same Link as well anyways. And bada bing bada boom, you got Daniel's $80. Done.
All right, mine's quick. If you've seen any of the videos where we talked about how we would do a Zelda 2 remake, making it kind of like New Super Mario Bros. Or Samus Returns, Metroid 2 Samus Returns, to where it is originally a 2D pixel game, but then they turn it into, and when I say New Super Mario Bros., I don't mean like make it all colorful and platformy. I just mean like take the old 2D game and give it new 3D character models, but still have it the side view 2D style. Which is exactly what they did with Metroid 2 Samus Returns. And then you can also make it go to a Link to the Past or a Link Between Worlds kind of style when you're in the overworld. Because it does switch from side view 2D to top down 2D. So you can have it switch from that, and then you can have a lot more detail in the overworld. So that's how I would do it. Good Luke.
Yeah. I think I'm honestly on the same page with Daniel on this. Just kind of like, just kind of use that. I'm sorry, but no, just
betrayal.
Just use the Link's Awakening engine and just remake them in that. I would love to see Minishcap. Honest to God, actually, I would love to see Minishcap remade in the Link Between Worlds engine, because that game looked so pretty, and if they just like ported that to the Switch, like that engine to the Switch, those visuals are like perfect. I think the Link's Awakening it looks amazing, but I think it's a tad too cute.
I think you're too cute.
Yeah. I think the Link Between Worlds, as like its hard style is hampered by the low resolution of the 3DS screen, but the game itself looks fantastic. I'm with you there on that. It's good. This is a Link.
This is Link.
Statue. This is
Game over Link. Game over Link.
Jesse, you look a little different today.
Yeah, did you dye your hair or something?
I see you've got your usual green hat, though.
Yeah, usual green hat.
That Jesse is known for wearing.
The shield's new. I like it.
It's different. Different.
No, my brother broke my old one, so like he was trying to move the arm and the sword, and it broke off. And then my cousin or my cousin's kid broke the shield. And then I have my Breath of the Wild statue that was broke too. So I found this one super duper cheap. And I got it, but the box was like completely destroyed. It looked horrible. So I was like, it's going to be all faded and messed up and stuff. But it looks great. So like I'm like, the box was horrible, but the figure itself is like complete. Sorry about that.
All good.
I'm just excited about it. I haven't taken it upstairs to my actual desk yet, so it's just laying around for now. I didn't mean for it to interrupt the podcast. I was just showing it on the screen. You guys were just like, yeah.
We just were all over it. Hey, here's a thought.
We were mesmerized.
Speaking of Zelda remakes, so in the Link's Awakening intro, we get this really cool like animated cartoon style.
What if that's a
intro.
tease to what the animated Zelda TV series for Netflix is going to look like?
Get out. Anyways, so no, don't go. Honestly, if they made a full game that looked like that, I would be all over it. I would be honestly so. You make a 2D game that just looks as good as that intro, and just you can have my monies. Bueno.
All right. Is it Luke's turn to pick a question?
Yeah. I'm gonna read.
Wisely.
You can pick one from the live chat if you want.
I want to read Key of Time 15's question.
Okay. He's a Patreon supporter. He's really cool.
Yeah,
Do you know him?
I deleted it. No, I'm kidding. Here it is.
Daniel, how could you do this to me?
Do you know Key of Time? He's a really cool dude.
Yeah, he's a really good friend of mine. He's part of the
He's a good
community.
Sweet.
Good human.
I think he's still a Patreon supporter. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he is. You guys should have him on the show.
We should.
It's a good human.
Since you're friends with him, you should tell him come on.
Just message him to be like, hey.
But he doesn't like us. He likes Daniel. He just doesn't like me.
He's not my Patreon supporter. He's your Patreon supporter.
Yeah, he was literally in the chat saying how many retweets to get on the show.
In this chat?
Yeah, he was in the live chat. He said that. Oh. He said that. He said that in the chat.
The answer is 2.
He literally, you literally could have told him just to join the group call.
I told him one retweet would do it.
One is good. One's good.
One's fine. I could have brought it up. Yeah, so that's my bad. Okay, so I'm gonna read Key's question.
And comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the Game Over Jesse channel, please consider purchasing a Game Over Jesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.